What's good, family YouTube fam? We back in a reaction video. We back with my boy Ty Learn with how Kenta became him. Now, if you know me, and you know the other, videos on Beyblade that we don't look at, there's been a lot of Kenta slander. And I've been egging it on. I've been egging it on because Kenta, Kenta. But this feels like this is like some Kenta praise. If I agree with it, I agree with it. But if it don't, the slander's coming. The slander is coming. That's all I'm saying. So that being said, my boy channel gonna be linked down below along the reason the video. Make sure you go show him some love. Hit the sub button, all that good stuff. You know we gotta hit the likes. Gotta make it full screen too. Big dogs in the building, get real movie like, schmoovy. You feel me? Word the gwitty snasty.
After dropping my Masamune video and asking you guys what you would like to see next,
a great video by the way,
for me to talk about how Kenta, the annoying, obnoxious little brat, ended up going from one of the worst characters to arguably one of the best. AKA how Kenta became him. I already made a video talking about Ryuga, and so might as well speak on the GOAT successor, that being Kenta himself. And so with that aside, let's get right into the analysis. Kenta was a character introduced in episode 1 with him being your average kid who just uses a Beyblade. He isn't like Gingka or Kyoya who were naturally powerful, or Benkei who cheated and attained a new Bey. He was pretty much like if we were in Beyblade and had to start at the very bottom. After being saved from Gingka, he'd go on to start the Gingka Glazing Gang, with him being the leader, making Gingka a little uncomfortable and avoiding him and his friends initially. But he'd soon find out that Kenta wasn't just inspired by him, but he also had a determination to now beat him. This is so Gingka didn't believe he was weak, but Gingka would assure to him that he wouldn't abandon Kenta and he's here to stick around. Even with this assurance, Kenta would soon have to step up, as he'd end up lying to Hikaru about being the strongest blader in town and would lose all of his points and fighting spirit. This leads into Benkei witnessing this situation, which reminds him of when he first met Kyoya, and would go on to now train bro instead of bullying him, and with the help of not only
he was benching crazy
Madoka's maintenance on Saggitario and the courage he gained from Gingka, this allows Kenta to create his very own special move and beat Hikaru in a legit one-on-one. I really like how the show goes out of its way to have Kenta put the blood, sweat, and tears into making his special move, and we see throughout all of Fusion he puts in the work the best way he can. He'd assist Benkei against Kyoya despite knowing he'd lose, but he didn't care because his friend was in danger, and he'd also do very well against Hyoma, as if he defeated Hyoma, then he'd know where Gingka went. And we even see during the Beyblade Survival Challenge, he does decent against Hikaru during the battle between him, her, Benkei, and Yu. We even see bro getting a dedicated episode of himself defeating 2 members of Dark Nebula and even training someone who wants to be exactly like Gingka. Pretty much showing how much Kenta has grown as the character he trained. Sora was pretty much what Kenta was like back in episode 1. But after helping Sora, he doesn't need to be like Gingka, but rather be like himself. Sora would tap into his real power, and then we'd have the Battle Blader event starting, where Kenta would actually manage to get the points and qualify for the first round.
Oh my god,
and although he does lose against Reggie, with the help of Libra and Yu's spirit, he was actually able to perform very well against Reggie, but he was eventually overwhelmed. He did lose to Reggie, but this did not stop him from attempting to participate in the World Tournament, which he sadly also doesn't quite win, but hey, this would be the seeds for what's to come later on in the Metal series. Kenta during Metal Masters really doesn't have much to do aside from being on the sidelines, but we do see him train the entire time and even try to become a substitute member for Team Gang Gang Galaxy. And although he ends up losing to Masamune in the qualifiers, he does cheer Gingka and the others on, along with even helping Wang Hyuzhan fight the Garcias back when Ziggurat's plan was in motion. However, Kenta's time would truly come after this season or in Metal Fury. Whereas most of us know, because of the whole legendary blader concept being introduced, Kenta was desperate to become one, or at least keep up with the others, which he sadly would come to find out that not only was Ryuga the chosen one for the summer constellation, but if he keeps going down the road he basically went down in Fusion and Masters, he'd just be left in the dust. This is where Kenta would go on to leave the group and follow the path of the strong, which just so happens to be led by the greatest rival of the same person that Kenta idolized, that being Ryuga. It's funny seeing this connection form since it fits really well, but you just wouldn't think from season 1 that these characters would ever even have that significant of a relationship.
At all.
Ryuga is someone who always had power. He basically was the strongest for the majority of the show and was never at the bottom, looked down on all of his inferiors. For him to see someone like Kenta, a kid who was at the bottom and had to work his way to the top, and actually acknowledge him as strong, not only says a lot about how far Kenta is willing to go, but it also shows Ryuga is someone who does acknowledge strong bladers and not just himself, which is something that he developed past Metal Fusion. We'd see Kenta's growth gradually as well.
He is the greatest character.
He would go from forcing Tsubasa to actually use his full power to stop him, and after training some more, he would go on to even force Cosmic Pegasus into relying on his special move, which is impressive since base Cosmic Pegasus is just a stronger version of Galaxy Pegasus, who is pretty much one of, if not the strongest Bey and Metal Masters besides like Tempo and Meteor El Drago. Meaning Kenta by this point would solo anyone in season 1 and 2. And if you don't think this is enough to say that Kenta is above season 1 and 2, don't worry, I got you. We get Kenta training some more, and after the revival of Nemesis and Ryuga refusing to help the group, Kenta challenges him with the rule being if he manages to actually damage El Drago once, then he has to go and help Gingka fight Nemesis. And Ryuga, initially not really expecting anything, would actually be caught off guard by Saggitario's power and how much he's actually grown, leading into him using Saggitario's new special move, that being Diving Claw, but this time it's fully mastered. And Ryuga would be forced to use his ultimate move. We do see that the face of El Drago Destructor actually does get damaged, meaning Kenta can unironically damage a version of El Drago stronger than Meteor El Drago, which is stronger than any Bey and Metal Masters. Kenta is him. And although this is the face bolt and most face bolts are plastic, meaning it's going to be easier to damage than the actual Bey, this is still a feat legit no other character before this moment has pulled off. And he would even go on to join the group in taking down Nemesis
Ryuga was
despite him lacking the star fragment and leading the charge of the B team consisting of Masamune, Tsubasa, and Yu, who by this point have all grown quite powerful and are pretty much looked at as right behind the legendary bladers in terms of power. So we have Kenta and Metal Fusion going from literally one of the main team's weakest bladers to now pretty much being the strongest blader that doesn't have a star fragment. Though, of course, because they weren't chosen, they would be quickly disposed of, and this would lead into Ryuga battling Rago and ultimately dying in the fight. But before he would go away, he would give the remnants of his star fragment to Kenta, allowing him to awaken his legendary power. After the essence of Ryuga essentially goes into Saggitario, we then see Saggitario evolve into Flash Saggitario. And off rip, it would show off insane levels of power. He would go on to defeat Rago's goon and put in just as much work as Gingka and the others in the final fight. And even when the odds are stacked against him, he puts his blade up against Rago, saying that he can't let Ryuga die for nothing, showing just how much Kenta has actually grown. Season 1, Kenta would have probably just died of a heart attack.
Still somewhere.
So seeing Kenta go from this scared little boy to now being a blader just as capable as Gingka and Kyoya and the others, it's honestly really satisfying stuff. And no, I don't think it's a cop-out that Ryuga gave his power to Kenta. I feel like he actually earned this power-up as he was growing throughout all of Fury, and plus we had Ryuga and Kenta developing for a reason. I feel like this was always meant to happen for the greater sake of the narrative for Kenta, and honestly, I'm all for it. And in the end, he knew that the best way to victory was through his most trusted friend, that being Gingka, which to me seems really fitting considering Kenta was the guy who relied on Gingka to save him. And now by the end of the series, Kenta is the one aiding Gingka and Gingka relying on the others to push Beyblade into a better tomorrow. And this is how Kenta became him. Bro solos go on.
You know, as much as I be wanting to hate on little bro, he got a good point. He really like that though. Like Kenta was really like that. I forgot he was really like that though. He honestly, if we looking at characters, he's the complete opposite of Masamune. Because Masamune was overconfident in his strength and didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, real cocky. And then you got, is that a crack? Oh my god, no. That's a, I got scared. But, like, Masamune was too overconfident in himself. And Kenta knew exactly his strength, but he wasn't, he knew his limits. You know what I'm saying? It's like a complete contrast on the other side of the spectrum. Like, but they still similar. And Ryuga's the best character. You know what I'm saying? My nigga still GOAT. He's the GOAT. I don't care if he died or died. He's still the GOAT. So, with that being said, my boy Ty channel will be linked down below along during the video. Make sure you go show him some love, hit the sub button, all that good stuff, and I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. Peace. Now let me stop.